Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. Somebody sent me this and asked how they could do it. And I kind of did something like this similar not too long ago. I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page because this is a pretty symmetrical box around it. I'm going to hit draw an ellipse just to see how close we are. I'm going to hit P. So we're pretty good. I'm going to hold down the control button. So it's a little bit off, but that doesn't really matter. We're going to take that out of the way. When I look at stuff like this, I thought, I don't need all of them traced. So with it selected, and that's the key there, take your crop tool and crop out. Try to make sure you get all of it, but maybe not too much, and crop it. Now, when I said selected, that way my circle is still on there. This is tiny, so it ought to trace pretty good. Go to trace bitmap, outline, trace clip art. Let's see how good it looks, and it's terrible. I didn't realize how fuzzy it was. Let's try trace bitmap, outline trace, low quality image. Yeah. This type of deal would almost be easier just to redraw. And this would be pretty easy to draw. Um, let's just, I'm going to use the 3-point curve line and I'm going to go, and I'm only going to draw like half of it. And I'm going to get that little twist. And he did mention that it doesn't have to be exactly like that. Now, when I said I'm just drawing half of it, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. Get the 3-point curve line again. And we're going to go, I think this has a little bit of an angle to it. Now, if I use the 3-point line, but if I click on it, it'll give me a straight line if I want it. Now, this is a little bit more difficult, but not really. We're just going to go there and then click it, go up here, and just get that turn. Go back to that node, maybe go all the way down to there. Now we can smooth that out in a second. This is kind of flat, so we're going to make it flat. And I'm just clicking. This has a long curve. I'm going to actually make that pointed right there and do like right there. And I can always go back and smooth things up. Let's see if we can't make this turn. Yeah, that's a little bit too bad. Now we're going to go at, I'm just going to do this point, and this is a good one for the 3-point curve line. And like I said, he said it doesn't really have to be exactly like that. And I'm going to go ahead and close that off. Whoop, by clicking. Now, when I said I was going to do half of it, I'm going to take this out of the way for a second, and you can see my line. And I forgot to include one thing, so I need to get that bottom. Let me zoom in here. Get the 3-point curve line. I didn't do this bottom part. And like I said, I'm just trying to get like half of it because that's going to help me in the future. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to group these together. Well, first of all, I'm going to make it a little better. I'm going to make this curve a little bit better. So I'm going to get the smoothing tool set on like 0.1. We just want a little bit of a smoothing. I don't want to take away that flat line. So I'm just going to do this. And I'm not really particularly caring. See how it's making it a little bit better? I don't like that. So we're going to take the shape tool. And let's try deleting one of these nodes and see what happens. We can delete both of them, but look at what we can do. That looks pretty good. I'd actually bring this in a little bit. The smoothing tool would do this. Now that looks good. That doesn't look too bad. Now I've got a line that's past there. So I'm going to take the virtual segment delete key and delete that line, but I wasn't touching. So let's get the shape tool and just select down to there. And by those two lines crossing, they'll stop. And I've got a little bit of a funny curve up there, but that's fine. Now I'm going to group this together, Control G, Control D to duplicate and get the two-sided cross and have it mirror over there. Now you can see I still need to do a lot of work, but my other two halves are good. My points do meet. even though they're a little bit squirrely. I should have fixed that before. Now I've got them grouped together, so I've got to click on that and go to Object and Group and ungroup it for me to be able to grab that. And I'm just going to bring that in a little bit. Now that one's group 2, but I think it's symmetrical enough, so I can delete that. Now let's look at the other lines aren't closed because I didn't go far enough. And I'm just going to bring that to there. Now that's making it a little bit unsymmetrical, but I'm going to bring this up. I didn't ungroup that evidently. So go up to Object, Group, and Ungroup. Grab the Shape tool and kind of go like an X right there. And because they're crossed, they will not do anything. We'll go ahead and put a line. Well, we're a little bit off on our circle if we're going to make a circle out of this. So what I need to do is make this line longer. And then I'm just going to draw a straight line between them. This is a little more, I'm going to use just the 2-point line. Now I want to make sure that is all connected. So I'm going to draw a rectangle and I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool. So let me see what my nudge factor is. Let's see, this box is less than 1.5 inches, so I'll make it 2 inches. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool, fill that in, and that's good. Well, 2 inches is a lot more than I thought. Let me back up here. Change the nudge distance to, oh, it's only 0.5 tall, so let's make it just 1 inch. I read the wrong dimension. So we can move that up, still pretty far away. But see, I don't have any leaks, so we're pretty much good to go, and that basically made it symmetrical. I'm going to left click, right click. Now, I did almost the exact same video the other day. I'm going to Control G to group that together. Now I'm going to hit P and put that circle in the center of the page. I'm going to hit P, put that in the center of the page. And I'm going to hold down the Control button and I'm going to put it to the top of that, pretty close to the center. What I need to do now is take the Control D to make a duplicate, hold down the Shift key so it'll grow equally distance-wise. I'm going to take a 2-point line and hit P, put it in the center of the page. I'm not long enough, so I can stretch it out and still hit P. Still not long enough, but I can hit P. Now, because it's in the center of the page, it'll rotate from the center. So I'm going to go like right here. Now, I'm going to make it an easy 22 degrees because, I didn't have to do that. Control D and make a duplicate and mirror it. Now I'm going to take this and move it out of the way. And I'm going to take this shape, fill it in. I'm going to move it out of the way. I am going to left click, right click. And now I'm going to take this item. Let's zoom in here. And I'm going to go to Effects and Envelope. Create a new envelope form and look what it did. Made it pretty good. Now I want it in that exact space, so I'm going to hold down the Shift key in EC. And then because we've nudged, I can nudge this over and we're right where we need to be. Now we're a little bit long, maybe on the item overlapping, but that won't really matter. Now I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, Alternate C to put the rotation in the center of the page. And I'm going to see just what it looks like rotated and not touch. It needs to be equal. So if we go 45 degrees, it'll be perfect. And then Control D, go 90 degrees. Now we still don't have a ring around it, but that's pretty close. I would maybe, if I was going to do it for real, I would maybe turn these a little bit because I made my bottom flat. Well, you know what? Let's just do that. Let's back up here. Might as well do it right. I think I probably have 2 here, so I'm going to move one. I do. I need to move these up. So I'm going to have to grab it and go up to Object and ungroup it. I'm actually going to just kind of, you know what? I wonder if we mirror it both ways. But let's do this. Let's Now, to get these both perfectly like this, and we could change that direction, I'm just going to delete that one. I'm still working in the center of the page, so I can take a 2-point line and hit P. I'm going to go ahead and group this together for a second. Well, you know what? I can make my line longer. And now what I can do to make that perfect, I can select that, Control D and make a duplicate, and then mirror it, well, holding down the Control button. Oh, that isn't working. Nope, it ain't gonna work. I didn't think of that. So what I can do, and let me just go ahead and delete everything on this side. And we're pretty good, I think. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and Control D. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm going to back that up. I'm going to Control G to group it, Control D to duplicate it. And by doing that, it put it where I wanted it. Now, I really should fill this in with a Smart Fill tool, but I'm almost confident that it's not going to leak. But I always put a box around it and see when we have no leak, so we're good to go, because the other ones aren't going to leak. Now, let's group this together, Control G. You know what, it's kind of, I didn't unenvelope it, but let's go ahead and put it in that envelope shape again. So we're gonna grab that. Well, you know what, it is an envelope shape, so it does not matter. I did get rid of my ellipse, which I wish I had back. Well, we don't need it. I don't need the ellipse because I'm gonna rotate from the center of the page. And I'm gonna leave them like that. I'm gonna Control D to duplicate it, Alternate C to rotate it. Well, you know what? It must not be a group. Yeah, it's not a group. Control G to group it. Control, you know what? I might have too many copies now. Nope. Control G to group it. Control D to duplicate it. Alternate C to rotate it from the center of the page. And we're going to rotate it at 45 degrees. Control D, Control D, Control D. Now they're not as close anymore, but the person I'm doing this for could change that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that and this. And I'm going to take this and group it together and hit P, and it is in the center of the page. I'm going to take an ellipse and hit P, put it in the center of the page. And that's really pretty good. But what I'm going to do is expand it just a little bit, holding down the Shift key to get it right on there. I'm going to make it something thicker than a hairline. I forgot how little I was working. That's pretty good. I'm going to go up to Object, convert the outline to an object, and then I can left click, right click, and you can see we've encompassed some of those parts, and then just keep your fingers crossed that it's going to weld it. And it did. So now, no, it didn't. It did most of it, but instead of trying to figure out what to do, just take your virtual save and delete key and delete that inside line. We really don't even have to do that. Yeah, we do. If we want it all to be black. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's delete both lines and this line. I'm kind of messing up this, but it'll get in that idea of what it's going to do, because we're going to have to fill in some with the Smart Fill tool, and I think it'll actually make it look better. So we're going to delete both these lines. I should have rehearsed this video, but that's how you learn. You learn by your mistakes, and hopefully this will look good. Just a couple more. I probably could have figured out, I could have grouped them together and made back minus front. I'm going to have to zoom in. Still got a little bit of a line there. But by the time, if I didn't have to talk and I could have already been done. So, and you could actually probably leave those lines. Whoop. So I did a no-no. Let me back up here. What did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't do anything wrong. I just maybe deleted a line I shouldn't have. And I think I got one more and we'll be done. Thankfully, you can just cross there, get rid of that little bit of line, get line that line. Now, by filling in, we should be able to do this. If we go up to object and we can't group it together, let's just see if we can't grab it all and turn it black. Yep, it turned the circle black. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to smart fill it. And here's a good lesson. I need to smart fill in these other pieces. I'm going to take the smart fill tool and fill. I'm going to use black. Okay, so we know we can do that. But instead of going through the smart fill tool and filling all those, I can fill that one, and that one. Control G to group those three pieces together. Control D to duplicate it. Alternate C to rotate it, and then rotate it 45 degrees. And see, it's going to fill in all those spots that aren't going to fill in with the smart fill. Then just grab your smart fill tool and fill that in. And that's pretty cool. Now I wish I hadn't erased the original. And you could, if I look back on it, I could have this further down in the hole. But it came out pretty well, and maybe I should have put some more curvature to it. Anyway, hope that helped him a little bit. Thank you for watching.